I've been unable to share. I hope everyone can see the presentation.
Yes, I can see the presentation.
Thank you.
Sorry, I went off because I was trying to sort that out. Thank you, that is already sorted. I'm glad. So I was saying the team, we are from the investable team. We did a course together as a team on finances. And after we did the course, we decided to come up with a group of us who are in the class so that there is that form of accountability as a team. And then we get to understand more about the different areas that we learned about, or the finance that we learned about. And because each of us has different ability and different connections in terms of networking, we allow each of us to at least give us a chance of inviting somebody in the industry who major in particular areas. So if I know somebody in real estate, I would tell us I know someone in real estate, and I would organize the meeting and have the team listen to what real estate is, so that each of us, at least when you're making our decisions, we make it from an informed perspective. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that brief history. I think I can introduce myself, then we go straight away to the presentation. My name is, you can mute. My name is William Barusei. I work with Kenindia Assurance Company in a pension department, currently assistant manager dealing with client relations and consultancy, and also most of the time I'm in business development. My presentation, I will try as much as possible. You had given me some questions, and I think my presentation will answer about 90%. Then the rest we can talk. So I think we can start off.
Yes, please. It would be fair for us who joined to just start off now.
So thank you. So my presentation will touch about who Kenindia is. Now that I'm coming from Kenindia, investment guidelines. We talk of the structure of the scheme. We talk about guaranteed versus segregated funds. We talk about what is the difference between a provident fund and a pension fund, and how to join the scheme. That is how to join the IPP, the scheme costs, what are the costs in the scheme, how to access your benefits. Then we'll talk about the taxation. Then also we'll share about the options available at retirement, and partial access of benefits to purchase a house, or just a highlight of mortgage regulation. Kenindia Assurance Company was established in 1978. We are more than 40 years now in the industry. And Kenindia is partly owned by the Indian government and 5 insurance companies. Just a minute, please. Under parastatals, that is insurance companies, which are fully owned by the Indian government. And these are the companies. So the Indian companies, these are fully owned by the government of India, that is the parastatals. They own 56% of Kenindia. Then in local shareholding, we have Dr. Manu Chandaria through Comcraft Group of Companies. We have MN Meta, is majorly an industrialist in Uganda, that is through Meta Group of Companies. Then the late Honorable Simeon Yachai through Sansora Group of Companies. Then those are some of the products that we offer. We do group corporate pension schemes. We do individual provident funds and also pension plans. We have umbrella provident and pension plans, post-retirement medical schemes. We have annuities, income drawdowns, and trust fund management. And then also we have group life individual life insurance, and also general insurance. Our philosophy, our investment philosophy is one that guarantees the scheme of safety of capital, consistency of returns, and above market average return on investment. When we talk of guarantee, we manage only the guaranteed schemes. I will say more about the difference because in the structures of the scheme, we have guaranteed schemes and we also have segregated schemes. So I will talk about their differences in the next slides. Safety of funds is our #1 priority for every funds that has been entrusted to us. This is bolstered through prudent investment decision-making, aimed to safeguard the pensioners while providing a decent growth on their benefits, which has continually maintained above average industry returns. That is the performance I'm talking about. For the last 10 years. If we do average, Kenindia has emerged the best on average, that is 12.73 for the last 10 years. And also for the last 10 years, we have never came below 10%. The lowest is 10.75, which was in 2020. This is compared with the industry, the other players in the industry. How have we invested our funds? How have we split our portfolio mix in the investments? To note that we don't just invest, we follow the guidelines, which is issued by the Retirement Benefits Authority. There's a guideline on how to invest the funds. So in 2020, most of our funds we have geared towards the government securities, and we have little exposure to the equity market. And that majorly describes why our rates does not fluctuate much compared to the others. This is the guidelines, which is normally given by which has been given by the Retirement Benefits Authority on how we can invest the funds. They give us the maximum limit, and it is upon the company, or rather the fund manager, to play with the limits, so long as you don't exceed the limits given by the Retirement Benefits Authority. If we go back to the performance, you might ask yourself then, if the guidelines is coming from one regulator, why the difference? The difference majorly comes from the portfolio mix, how you have balanced your portfolio. As you all know, the equity market in our country is not that stable, and if you have much of the money in the equity market, it fluctuates so much. That is, for example, we can see, for example, if you look at a preterm, we have 6, then 16, 16, 16, then 8, 8.5, then up, down, you can go high, because sometimes the equity market goes up and then down immediately, because it follows the sentiment of the environment, or rather the factors that affect equity market. And most of our equity market is almost 70% is owned by foreigners. So when there is something that happened in our market, or rather in the Kenyan market, the foreigners tends to shy away, or rather sell their own shares before it drips down. Then the structure of the scheme, how the scheme works, how the scheme has been structured. In the industry, we have the Retirement Benefits Authority, which regulates the industry. It is the supervisor of the pension industry. It gives us the rules and regulations and guidelines to follow in the pension or retirement benefits management. Then after the RBA, we have the trustees. The trustees are the legal representatives and holders of the scheme. They make decisions on the schemes, on the operation of the schemes. Then we have the approved issuers or the fund manager. Approved issuer is an insurance company which has been licensed by RPA to manage pension funds. That is the approved issuer. We have the fund managers. Sometimes it's called the fund managers, but approved issuer is normally used by the insurance companies, and it's normally the insurance companies who do the guaranteed fund management. Administrator is a company which has been licensed by RPA to manage the bookkeeping of the scheme, the record keeping of the scheme. Their roles is actually to maintain the scheme, to ensure that what has been contributed to the fund manager is captured and has been allocated as it is. Then other service providers, we have auditors and the legal advisors, because every time the scheme has its own legal documents which runs the affairs of the scheme. We have what we call trust deed and rules, and also the agreements between the fund managers and the trustees. The trustees are very powerful when it comes to the management of the scheme, because the service providers, they are the ones to get the service providers. Apart from the individual pension schemes, the trustees are the ones to decide on where to take the funds for members, or rather where to invest the funds. And also they are the ones to decide on the investment. And especially when it's come to segregated fund, the trustees has the full control on the investment of their funds. Thank you. And then maybe to say also, in even the individual personal pension plans, we have also the trustees. But now the trustees are corporate. It's a corporate trustee. And we have from the corporate schemes and the individual personal pension plan. For standalone schemes, standalones, they have their own trustees in-house, or rather in their own company. But when it comes to individuals, we have what we call corporate trustee, because the founder of the individual pension scheme is the insurance company. Then they cannot act as the trustees of their own scheme. So that is why the RPA give us separate duties between the founder of the scheme and also the insurance company, the trustee of the scheme. A guaranteed fund versus segregated fund. What is the difference? The guaranteed funds are invested in a pooled portfolio with lower cost. The guaranteed funds, as the name suggests, it has a minimum guaranteed rate of interest, which I will tell you ahead. Then it has a minimum guaranteed rate of interest. There is no time that your funds will go to a negative front. For segregated funds, the segregated funds, they are separate. If it is a scheme, let's say, for example, a Kenindia scheme, the Kenindia scheme is invested separately from maybe another company scheme. So the scheme runs its own affairs of the members. The affairs of the members, they collect the funds and pay members from the same funds of the scheme. In the guaranteed portfolio, in the guaranteed fund, the schemes, all the schemes funds are invested in one pool, and they are not separate. When, for example, if we are doing, or if we are paying the claims from the guaranteed fund, the guaranteed fund will just look at the money which is in the liquid state and pay the claims. They will not say this money belongs to this scheme, this money belongs to this scheme. But at the end of the day, each schemes maintain its own books. But when it comes to management, it's only put in the same pool. Insurance companies pay us all risk in the guaranteed fund. The insurance companies pay us the risk. That is why it gives a minimum guaranteed rate. Even if it makes losses, there is a rate which they are not supposed to go below that rate. Then in the segregated fund, the scheme members pay us the risk, or rather the investment risk. If the schemes make losses, then those losses are transferred to the members. If the schemes makes profit, those profits are transferred to the members. So the members pay us the investment risk in the segregated fund. So in the segregated fund, there is no guarantee minimum rate. And also the safety of capital is not guaranteed. The scheme trustees or member don't require investment expertise. No, the guarantees accumulated capital together with the investment income. In the guaranteed fund, you are guaranteed the accumulated capital and also the investment income. Then in the segregated, it does not guarantees the accumulated income capital together with the past investment income. So there is losses on asset. Losses on asset is possible in the segregated fund. Scheme trustees or member don't require investment expertise in the guaranteed setup. In the guaranteed setup, you do not require the investment or rather the investment expertise in the trustees management. Then scheme trustees in the segregated fund requires the understanding of investment because they are the ones to make the investment decisions. If they make wrong decisions, the members will suffer. And that's why in the segregated fund, the trustees have to have that investment or understanding on the investment. Liquidity risk is very well managed in the guaranteed fund because payments to members are not affected by investment decisions. In the segregated fund, liquidity risk can cause delay of settlement of claims because it is that only scheme which is settling their own members' schemes, which can significantly affect the investment income because they will have, in the segregated fund, you'll have to maintain a larger amount of liquidity. Expenses are low in guaranteed fund, and the expenses that are passed to the members is very low in the guaranteed fund. In the segregated fund, we have higher expenses because in the segregated fund, you must have a separate fund manager, you must have a custodian, and you must have an administrator. In the guaranteed fund, you can only choose to have one approved issuer who can do the administration and also can do the fund management. There's these two words which normally confuse people, the pension versus the provident fund. These are both retirement schemes with the purpose of saving for retirement. But the main difference comes in on accessing the benefits at retirement. And at retirement, when it comes to provident fund, the member has the leeway of accessing the entire lump sum, so, of course, subject to the tax rules. Or he can choose to purchase a pension product, that is what we call an annuity or an income drawdown. But for pension schemes, it's a bit rigid. And at retirement, the rules, or rather the law says that the member can only access a third cash lump sum, subject to tax, and 2/3 goes to purchasing either an annuity or an income drawdown plan. Or you can choose 100% purchase either. You can use the whole amount to purchase either annuity or income drawdown. Now, how do you define your retirement? Or rather, the retirement, what is retirement? This is a point where a person leaves formal employment completely or lives active working environment. This is usually happen upon reaching a determined age. That is, if you are employed, they start to determine age that when you reach this age, you have to leave. When physical conditions don't allow the person to work anymore by age or illness or accident. Even out of personal choice, you can determine your own retirement. You can say you want to retire at 50. So you plan for that, usually in the presence of adequate pension schemes or pension savings. A person may also semi-retire. You can keep some sort of retirement job out of choice rather than necessity. So the purpose of the schemes is to provide pension and other retirement benefits upon you retire. That is, upon retirement, you might choose to, or rather, each and every one of us wants to continue with the standard of living that we were living before retirement. Because when you are unemployed, you have a lot of benefits, but when you get out of employment, most of us get shocked because of that transition problem, or rather the shocks of transitions. Another issue is to provide relief to your beneficiaries in case of the unfortunate event of death. Most of the times when you are joining a pension scheme, there is a nomination form which is given. And that nomination form is for you to list the person who will enjoy your benefits in case you will not be there. How to join an IPP is very simple. There's a proposal form which you normally provide. You attach your ID and password and KRA PIN, then you do your contribution. That is how to join. The scheme cost, and especially on Kenindia IPP fund, we have the statutory fees, which is RPA levy, that is common to all the schemes in the industry. The RPA levy, which is normally charged at 0.2%. The audit cost, depending on the fund size, but does not exceed 0.1% of the scheme. Then corporate trustee fee, which currently is at 0.15%. So you also note that our fees are normally net off before we declare the rate. So when it comes to checking, or rather at the end of the year, when you look at your statement, when we say we have declared 10.75, this is the deductions that you will see in your statement. You will see the RPA levy, you will see the audit fees, and also the corporate trustee fee. We do not charge an administration fee on the schemes we manage. We waive for all the schemes we manage, we waive the administration fee. Payment process, how can you exit? After joining, how can you exit the scheme? The first is to notify the trustees, that is if it is informal, or rather if it is an in-house managed scheme, that is the standalone schemes. Formal notifications through a letter to the trustees. For IPP, you notify the fund administrator. That is, if you are in Kenindia personal pension plan, then you notify us as the administrator of the scheme. Then other things we follow with the corporate trustee. Then when you notify us, you are given a claim form, which you'll have to fill and sign and provide your account details and also the preferred options, what you want to do. Because you might want to transfer that fund from us to another insurance company, or from another insurance company to us. So there is preferred options in that claim form. Then other paperwork that we need is ID, KRA PIN, and bank account details. A payment is done within 30 days as per RPA regulation. But currently, the payment of claims have become a competitive edge in the pension industry. And each and every insurance company tries to reduce as much as possible and ensure that the payments are made within 2 weeks after receiving all the the requirements. Like in India, we do within 7 to 14 days. That is when we settle our claims. On the transfer, the RPA regulation on the transfer is 60 days. It gives 60 days for the transfer to be done. But also we normally do it below even 30 days, depending on the fund. Benefits available. Benefits available for a normal, or rather the employer setup scheme. If you are leaving the scheme before age 50, if you are leaving the schemes before age 50, then you are allowed to access 100% refund of your contribution as an employee and 50% of employer contribution. The remaining 50% does not belong to the employer. It belongs to the member, but only that the regulation says that you can only access that amount on retirement, either early retirement or on any time after 50 years. In Kenya, 50 years is the early retirement. It's the minimum retirement age. You can choose to leave the fund or transfer all the benefits to another scheme or an individual retirement plan. If you are in employment and there's some funds you left where you were, you can choose to transfer, or you can choose to leave it until you get to retirement, because these funds will continue earning interest wherever it is. The only difference is that how much is the interest which is being earned at that scheme, vis-a-vis if you had transferred to your personal retirement plan. Another thing is if you transfer to an individual retirement plan, you can be able to follow up with the insurance company rather than going back to the previous employer to claim the remaining balance. Benefits available at retirement, you access everything, 100% employer and employee contribution plus the interest, and of course subject to tax paid to members' bank account. That is if it is provident fund. If it is pension fund, then a third is paid to the member. Two-thirds you are required to purchase an annuity or income drawdown from an insurance company of your choice. From an insurance company of your choice. Most of the time, some members get confused because the trustees can tell you can go to this insurance company or this insurance company, but as per the regulation of the RPA, the member has the right to choose which insurance company to purchase an annuity or an income drawdown. So you are allowed to get quotations from different insurance companies and understand the terms for that quotations. In case of debt in service, 100%, that is both employee and employer, contribution is paid to the nominated beneficiary. That is why it is very important when you are saving for your needs, then for your retirement, you capture a person who can take over of your benefits in case of unfortunate death. On taxation benefits, we have taxation benefits in retirement, especially when you are contributing. Contribution up to 20,000 per month or Kenya shilling 240,000 per year on aggregate, whichever is less, are tax deductible, thus saving on pay as you earn. That is if you are contributing from the payroll. If you are contributing from the payroll, the amount up to 20,000, that is inclusive of NSSF, because NSSF is also a pension amount. Then that amount should not be taxed at the payroll by contributing members. Then anything above that 20,000, it is taxed at the payroll. So for example, if you are contributing 25,000, then 5,000 is subjected to tax. 20,000 will not be subjected to tax at the payroll. Okay. Now, when it comes to us, we classify them separately. The contributions up to 20,000, those which has not been taxed, we call them tax exempt or registered fund. Tax exempt or registered fund, any amount less than 20,000 and below, then we call them registered fund or tax exempt. Then any contribution over and above the 20,000 or to 40,000 per year, we consider them as non-tax exempt or unregistered, because some different companies use different terms, but it's around that. Is unregistered or registered. Registered is the amount that has been exempted from payroll, from payee when contributing. Then the unregistered are those amounts which has already been taxed, any amount above the 20,000. Level 2 of tax exemptions is on investment income. On investment arising from contribution in respect to tax exempt, that is the registered fund, this amount which was not taxed in the payroll. The investment, or rather the income on it, is also not taxed. Yeah. Then on the investment income arising from contributions that already has been taxed in the payroll, that is the unregistered fund. The investment is taxed at a corporate tax rate of 30%. That is the investment. So when you look at these two scenarios, there is exempt. We are exempting on contribution and also exempted on the income. Then on unregistered, you look at it is taxed and also taxed. So now what happened to this amount when you are accessing them? Tax exemptions when you are paying the benefits, okay? When you are accessing these benefits, the law gives a tax-free amount of 60,000 for every year of contribution. 60,000 for every year of contribution, up to a maximum of 10 years. Up to a maximum of 10 years. Then the balance amount is subjected to tax, depending on how long have you been in the scheme or the age of the member who is accessing the funds. So the law allows, if you have been in the scheme for 15 years, or you are leaving the scheme at an age of 50 years and above, then you are subjected to a tax band of this kind, that is the 400 tax slabs. So after removing, let's say for example, you had 1 million, then that 1 million you have been saving for the last 10 years, then you have a tax-free amount of 600,000. Then the balance amounts to be taxed is the 400,000, which will be subjected now on the first lap, which is the 10%. So you find that person, if you have been contributing for 10 years and you have accumulated 1 million, you'll only end up paying 40,000 as tax. Then for those which terminate their membership in the scheme before the expiry of 15 years, that is if they have been in the scheme less than 15 years or before age 50 years, then the tax-free amount is the same. The amount above the tax-free is taxed as follows, or following the PAYE rates. That is the first 288. The first 288,000 is taxed at 10%. The second 100,000 is taxed at 25%. Then the balance taxed at 30%. So you'll find if this person has contributed for 10 years and has accumulated 1 million, then you subtract the 600, then you remain with 400,000. That in that 400,000, the first 288 is 28,000. The next 100 is 25,000. So we are remaining with about 12,000, which will now enter into the tax bracket of 30. So you'll find this person will pay approximately 47,000, 48,000 compared to that person who accessed the funds after 15 years or after age 50, which was paying only 40,000. What is income replacement ratio? The main purpose of a pension scheme is to replace your income after your active employment or after your active working years. Then you need a replacement of your income. So the principal purpose of a retirement arrangement is to provide an income after retirement, because it's either whether you are in Chuakali or you are employed, at one point you will get the retirement. So everyone is actually required to plan for that retirement age, because if you reach a point when even your body does not allow you to continue actively working in your area, then that's why you need a retirement plan. And that's for smooth transition between working life and retirement by allowing a person to maintain a similar standard of living after retirement. A good measure of that level of smooth is the gross replacement ratio. And the gross replacement ratio, that is gross of tax just after retirement, you get divided by the income. Then gross of tax and other deduction just before retirement. So the GRR of 60% means that the income just after retirement is 60% of the income just before retirement. So pension expert considers the gross replacement ratio of between 60% and 70% as an ideal position. Sample projections on their contributions so that we can majorly understand how the replacement ratio or how much you need to save to achieve that replacement ratio. For example, a person with less than 5 years or rather 5 years to retirement, if you choose to contribute 1,000 today, in the next 5 years, you have only 77,000. But for a person who is 30 years or rather 35 years and is planning to retire at 60, if you choose to give 1,000 religiously for the next 25 years, then you will have accumulated about 1.3 million. These projections have done at a rate of constant rate of 10%. Then when you use this 1.3 to purchase an annuity, and you use the 1.3 to purchase an annuity, you will get an average between 8,000 to 12,000 thereabout for the 1.3 billion. You have been contributing 1,000, but now when you are purchasing an annuity, you will get about 8,000 or 12, between 8,000 and 12,000 for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. Meaning if you stay after 60, you stay another 30 years, you will continue enjoying the 8,000 of your money, okay? So what happens? If you have less years to retirement, then it means you have to save more so that you can catch up with your retirement needs. So retirement options. And before I talked of retirement options, I tried to do this pictorial picture of a gentleman in between the two ladders. And there's one there who is being told, it is your turn in a minute. So that guy there, we have two ladders. One ladder, they have the same steepness, But when you look at the only difference between these two ladders is where is the shadow. Where is the shadow? In this downward ladder, the shadow is the ladder is under the shadow. But the upper one, the ladder is above the shadow. What am I trying to say? When we are in working environment, or rather when we are employed, our employer has planned for us different benefits and have made us comfortable such that we find ourselves in a temporary comfort zone. And most of the employees tend to assume it is a permanent comfort zone. One, during employment, you have medical cover. During employment, you have a salary. The employer is paying you a salary every end of the month. In employment, you have the group life. So already the employer has planned all this for you. You have a salary, you have the medical cover, and you are sure there is work for you to do in employment. But get out of employment. Do you have those benefits? How will you replace them if you had not planned for this retirement? And that is what the Retirement Benefits Authority has been trying to bring on board, or rather to try and make sure that there is a way of transiting from employment to unemployment, but with a package. Yeah. So they try to answer the salary issue, because you are living there and you will not have the salary. Then the medical issue. After the minute you step out of that employer, then the medical cover become inactive. That card that you normally go to swipe become inactive. Are you able to maintain your standard of living? And this is the age, or rather the area whereby so many diseases, lifestyle diseases comes in place. And so what the schemes are trying to do is to help members transit in a smooth manner. How can I replace my medical? How can I replace my salary? Okay. Then maybe in future or in the next session, we can try to look at the transition. I don't want to dwell so much on how we transit from employments to retirement space. So in the retirement options, as you had seen, there is provident and there is pension. And especially government employees or parastatals most of them have been forced to do a pension scheme, because you find most of the employees, or other people who are retiring, they want to touch that amount. If they see 10 million in their account, they want to touch that 10 million and see in their account. And most of the time, if from the statistics, those who did not take an annuity, their lump sum amount take less years or even less months to get exhausted. And you find a retiree who was a well-placed person, who was a well-respected person, is now coming down to look for a minor job that is just to keep them surviving. You find a whole manager going down there looking to be a guard or even a waiter in a hotel, yet he was a very senior manager in an organization. Why? Because they choose the option of lump sum, just because the law allows them to choose the option of lump sum. So when the government look at that, and most of the parastatal had taken provident fund, so they were told to revert back to the pension scheme, because members were not taking the annuity options or the income drawdown options. Then, so which way for the retiree? Just for post-retirement medical schemes, because I don't have a slide which is talking of post-retirement medical. Post-retirement medical scheme is a scheme set aside to help retirees. When you get to age 60 and above, most of the insurance companies tends to refuse to give the cover to the senior citizens. And that's because of one reason. Most of senior citizens, they have lifestyle diseases, pressure, diabetes, and what have you. So they see it as more expensive compared to younger generation. But the RPA, because it is their mandate to take care of their members, whether within the employment or at retirement. So they brought in this and they made it, they made all the schemes to incorporate this on their trust deed and rules so that it can allow members to utilize part of their pension fund to purchase a medical cover. So what the law says is that the member can start saving for that and call it, this is my money for post-retirement medical. This money you cannot withdraw until you get to retirement. If you contribute specifically for post-retirement medical schemes. For the late comers, or rather for the members who did not have this knowledge and did not save for post-retirement medical, then the scheme allows them to utilize up to 10% of their accumulated fund to purchase this scheme of a medical fund. So how it works is that the amount, the lump sum amount is invested, and every year the investment from that amount is taken off to purchase an insurance cover. So if you have a better, rather the better a scheme which is earning a better rate and your premiums is not too high, then that amount or that lump sum amount can take you then for the rest of your life, for many years after retirement. So it is a fund set aside, invested, and every year that fund is used to renew your investment cover. And in the industry, we have tailor-made it to make sure that even you can use the same service provider that you are using while in active employment. Now we look at the annuities and the income drawdown. These products are meant to replace the salary that we enjoy when we are in active employment, or what we are able to make when we are actively working for ourselves. What is an annuity and why do I need an annuity? An annuity is a contract between an individual and an insurance company where the individuals make a lump sum payment to an insurance company, which converts it to a series of regular lifetime income payments. So this is now like opposite to our savings for retirement. You get now what you have accumulated to purchase an annuity, where you will now draw down. It is at the accumulation stage. You are deaccumulating what you had accumulated while actively working working. To purchase an annuity plan, you may pay an insurance company a lump sum premium just before retirement. Then alternatively, you will get periodic payments until you select your retirement age, which is what most of you are trying to do. And that's why I said, since it's a contract between you as a member and the insurance company, the law allows you to choose which insurance company. It doesn't mean that if you have been investing in Kenindia, you will, the lump sum that you have at Kenindia, you must purchase an annuity from Kenindia. No, the law allows you to look around and see which insurance company give you the best deal. So we have different types of annuities. We have deferred annuities and immediate annuity. As the name suggests, immediate annuity, the minute you give us the lump sum, then before or rather the end of the month, you start enjoying your monthly income. For deferred annuity, you choose. You can say, I am putting this one, but I want to start earning the monthly income or the quarterly income, whichever you want, the frequency you want, in the next 5 years. So we take that annuity, invest it, then in the next 5 years, we start now enjoying the monthly income. So it's still a decision of the member to choose which annuity to go with. Then we have what we call guaranteed periods for annuities. And also we have increasing annuities. Now, the guaranteed periods are meant to secure the beneficiaries. It's a period whereby the insurance company agrees to pay whatever you have chosen for that period, whether you are alive or not. Okay, but if the annuity does not have a guaranteed period, it means that what you are telling the insurance company is that this accumulated amount is for me and myself alone. You don't care about the beneficiaries. You don't care about who will, about anyone to enjoy your money when you are gone. So it means you can give me $1 million today, then earn the money for 1 month, maybe 7,000 or 8,000. Then in case of death, that is my profit as the insurance company. That is what it means by an annuity without guaranteed period. Annuity with a guaranteed period. Normally it is between 5, 10, 15, 20, and I've seen some who have given up to 25 years. This means that in case of death before the guaranteed period ends, then the remaining beneficiaries, rather the beneficiaries, will continue enjoying what you have been enjoying until the end of that guaranteed period. What happens in case of death after the guaranteed period? Because all annuities are for life, and it's supposed to pay the annuitant. The annuitant is that person who purchased the annuity, supposed to pay the annuitant for the rest of his life or her life. But what happened in case of death after the guaranteed period? Maybe you had chosen 10 years guaranteed period. So in case of death at the 11th year, then the contract ends there, meaning the beneficiaries will not get anything because the guaranteed period is over. In case of death within the guaranteed period, then the beneficiaries will enjoy the remaining period until the end of the guaranteed period. Then the annuity, the contract is over. Increasing annuity. We have what we call escalating annuities. They try to gather for the inflation factor, though it's very small because it's normally between 3% and 5%. The annuity starts with a small amount, but every year that annuity keeps on increasing. Every year the annuity keeps on increasing. Joint life annuity, that is if you take the annuity together with your spouse. And before I show you the quotation, I will like to give a unique annuity. This is an annuity which was designed by Kenindia in 2016. This annuity, we are trying to sort out the problem of choosing which annuity, which guaranteed period should I take, or what will happen if I don't live long to my beneficiaries, or if I live longer, how will what will happen? Then our designing was in such a way that we look at the employees who are actively working in a PC environment. Most of the time, we don't get any skills to do business. And most of the people, when they get out there, if they go with lump sum, they end up spending everything. And before they know it, the whole money has gone. So we allow them, if you have this fund, and especially if it is provident fund, because it allows everyone to take, you have an option of taking everything. So we advise them, you can take small amount, go and try any business, because you might not be having the skills even for that business. After doing that business for 5 years, if that business is giving you more than what the annuity is giving you, then you have the options of opting out, or rather surrendering that fund and go and boost what you now understand best and what you can enjoy, or rather what you know it can keep you going. Okay, then we allow, this is the only annuity which allows surrender anytime after 5 years. Then in this annuity also, we said this annuity has to be guaranteed for life. It doesn't matter whether you have enjoyed this money for the rest, or rather for 50 years after putting it, because people purchase this even from 50 years, from 40 years, they can purchase this kind of annuity. Then if you live for 50 years, that principal amount is intact, meaning what you are enjoying is the interest bit. The principal amount, the 100%, is refunded back to your beneficiaries. So if you had chosen your wife or your husband to be the beneficiary, that person can choose either to take lump sum or reinvest back in their names and continue enjoying. So your money can go from generation to generation, yeah, depending on who is next to take over with that amount. So this policy is guaranteed for life. It's an annuity which is guaranteed for life. And it is unique with Kenindia only. So I can show you now the quotation of an annuity. I've done this with 1 million, because I know 1 million, if you are talking of 10 million, you can multiply by 10. If you are talking of 5 million, you can multiply by 5. If we are talking of 2 million, you can multiply by 2. So in this column, the first column called guaranteed periods, where I've put 0 years, is that guarantee, that annuity, which I was calling it annuity without a guarantee. It doesn't have guarantee. So you find then the escalating rate is the annuity, whether that annuity is increasing or not. If it is not increasing, then it is 0. Escalation rate is 0%. Increasing can be at 3% or 5%. Then the monthly income, if you follow that one for 0, you follow that one for 0 years and 0%, it gives you 8,504. If you do it in a year, it's 106,946. So if you do it in percentage, you'll find that that is giving you about 10.6%. 10.6%. Then we'll compare with the others. 10.6%, and it means in case of death, nothing will go back to your beneficiary. Then in the escalation, you start with a small amount, but it keeps on growing as you go along with that percentage of 3% or 5%. Then 5 years guarantee, it means you'll enjoy 5 years. In case of death before 5 years, your beneficiaries will enjoy until 5 years is over. Then that is the end. So with the 0 escalation, you can see it has an interest rate of about 10.5%. Then the same 10 years, the longer the guaranteed period, the lower the payment, the lower the interest rate. Because for 10 years guaranteed, you can find it's about 10.7. I'm talking of the 0%. It's about 10.1%. Okay. Now, the one down there is called the return of purchase price. That is the unique product I've talked about. And this unique product, the principle is intact. This other part, the 10 years, the 0 years guarantee, the 5 years guarantee, the principal amount is not refundable. It's not refundable. Then for ROP, the principal amount is refundable to the beneficiary. So it is intact. And that explains why it is the payments, or rather the monthly payments or the yearly payments is slightly lower, which comes at about 9%. But you're sure that the income, or rather the beneficiaries, will not go empty-handed while you are gone. I hope we are together with income, with annuity. Then I want to talk about the income drawdown option. What is an income drawdown? An income drawdown is an investment product that provides you with an income in retirement, just the same as annuity. So it was brought as an alternative of an annuity. This money remains invested. If you look at annuity, the rate is determined just a bit. This rate is determined by age. This one I've done with the age of 60. So if it is more than 60 years, then the rate also go up a bit. The older you are, the higher the rate in the annuity. Okay, higher the rate in annuity. It is determined by what is there in the annuity is the longevity risk. How long this person is going to stay alive, which can give you how long you are going to pay that amount. Okay. But when it comes income drawdown, you invest the money. It will not be constant. Sorry for that. The income drawdown option. So there is investment and the drawing down of the fund. So who should consider taking an income drawdown? In my view, is the person who has an alternative income at retirement. Like for example, what you have accumulated, if what you have accumulated is the only money you have at the retirement, then I will not advise you to purchase an income drawdown. Why? Because you can outlive your pension benefits. You can outlive that amount. What makes an income drawdown different from an annuity? The income drawdown allows you flexibility in how you receive an income from your pension scheme savings. The RPA set a maximum rate of withdrawing per year, and they set at 15%. So the member can choose which rates to withdraw the money. You can choose 12%, you can choose 10%, you can choose even that 15%. Okay, so you can choose even not to receive an income for some time, and later you collect the due amounts. Then you can change the amount and frequency of how you receive your money. Then after 10 years, you can change the providers. Okay. So what is the maximum income? The law allows you to withdraw up to 15%. Yeah. Then your income drawdown provider will work with you to ensure you receive an income from the plan for a minimum of 10 years. So the income drawdown must run up to a minimum of 10 years. A minimum of 10 years, meaning if that insurance company which you have invested your income drawdown in is declaring a rate less than 15%, then that provider will not allow you to withdraw more to withdraw 15%. So you will work in such a way that your money can take you at least for 10 years. And that's why we say there's a possibility of outliving, that amount. Then what happens after 10 years? The member can continue with the same plan, or you can use the balance of funds in the plan to buy an annuity. Then get a refund of the remaining amounts. You can use to get the lump sum, the refund of the remaining amount. Then what risk should I be aware of? What should you be aware of about the income drawdown? One, you can outlive your benefits. Then the investment returns might be lower than expected. Then the fees charged to manage your income drawdown might be too high. Normally, there is fee which is charged in managing the income drawdown. What should I expect from my income drawdown provider? You will always expect to get an annual statement. And that annual statement will show you whether you are withdrawing more than the interest you are earning. And if you're withdrawing more than the interest you're earning, there is a risk of outliving that amount. So what service providers have done on this is that every 2 years, there is a revision. Look at how much you have withdrawn, how much balance do you have? Can it still take you up to 10 years? That is because that is where the regulation now caters, because we need to follow the law to the letter so that we don't get ourselves in the wrong side of the law by allowing you withdraw your money even before, exhaust your money even before the 10 years is over. Taxation on a monthly benefit. The taxation on a monthly benefit follows the other bracket of the 400,000. And if it is a monthly, then the 400 divided by 12, that is where we have gotten the 33.33. So if you have invested 10 million, that will give you about 82,000. Then there is a tax-free amount. The tax-free amount of 25,000. This amount is not taxed. So meaning, if you are earning an annuity of less than 25,000, you don't pay tax. Anything less than 25,000, you don't pay tax. Then the taxable amount of 57,000 subjected to this graduated scale as it follows. So you find person earning 82,000 will end up paying 6,000 as tax. Then at 65 years and above, there is no tax on the monthly income. 65 years and above, there is no tax on the monthly income. We look at the mortgage regulations, the highlights. I'll just do the highlights. The mortgage regulations has been there all along. It's only that it was allowing members to use up to 60% of their fund as a guarantee to a mortgage. You could go to a bank and get a mortgage, then you come for the 60% as a security. You assign. The money was not leaving the scheme. You are only assigning 60% of that fund as the collateral security for what you have taken from a financial institution as a mortgage. Last year, this law was amended to allow members to access these funds and purchase a house, because that is still part of the retirement plan of the member. Because you find most of the members who are in employment, they end up retiring at home and they don't have a retirement home. So the regulator is trying to bring now also the members, and also the government policies dictated this for the housing, the affordable housing plan. So they were trying to tap on the large amount of money which is in the pension industry. So what the law was amended to read is that you can use up to 40% or up to a maximum of 7 million to purchase a home, and it's a complete home, a residential home, and not to construct that home. So this facility, you can either use the 40% or the 60%. If you have utilized the 60%, then you are not allowed to use the 40%. So that is what happened was the Tax Amendment Act amended Section 38 of the Retirement Benefits Act. That is what the act which talks about the mortgage rule. Then online access in Kenindia, when you are in Kenindia, you can always look at your statement online. Then as I conclude, you can look at yourself. Will you be smiling at your retirement? Will you be ready to retire? Will you be retiring, or you will be continuing working? Thank you very much. Back to you, Rednish. Are we still together?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm
yes,
done.
Very together.
The questions. Yeah.
And nice one there. We are very much together.
Yeah. Thank you. Now I can see the questions on the chat box. Someone was not hearing me. Just a thing. Okay. For the historical data provided, does that apply to the segregated or guaranteed funds? The historical data provided that I had provided is for guaranteed funds. The segregated fund, unless you talk of the average in the industry, you cannot be able to speak about the rate as a whole, because each and every scheme will earn its own rate depending on how the funds were invested. So you can find the funds are in the same company, but the interest they earned is totally different, because it depends on how the trustees have allowed or how the trustees have set their investment policy statement. Because there is an investment policy statement that the trustees normally do so that it guides the fund manager to invest their funds. So you cannot say this is the interest for the segregated fund for this company. But for the guaranteed fund, since it is a pooled fund, you can actually tell this company declared this rate for this for the fund or the guaranteed funds. So the historical rates are for guaranteed. Another one from Irene, must the annuity be purchased from the current pension company, or can you move to another? I think I answered that one. You can move. You have the liberty to choose which company to purchase an annuity from. Must the annuity, Then from Renish, thank you for the questions. Does the tax exempt contributions apply to IPP? What we are allowed to, or rather what we are required to do, is to capture the funds in this manner, that if that fund is less than 20,000, then that money will go to the tax exempt portion, or rather the registered fund. Unless someone come and say, I can prove that this amount has already been taxed. That is when we can move to the unregistered fund. However, if you are planning to purchase an annuity, I will advise you to leave it in the registered fund. Why? Because the interest on that registered fund is not taxed. And when you will be purchasing an annuity, that amount will not have been taxed. So you will have saved on the tax, and also you will be enjoying the income at the end of the annuity. And when you get to 65, you will not be paying any tax. So you will enjoy more on the registered fund, especially when you are purchasing an annuity. Then if you are bringing, let's say, a lump sum, and it is not coming from any pension scheme, because if it is not coming from pension scheme, it's your savings, and you say, now this 1 million I want to put in a registered in a pension scheme, then we take 240 as registered. Then the remaining 760 we put it in the unregistered fund, because we are not allowed to capture everything in the registered fund unless there is a proof that this amount had not been taxed before. Okay, I hope I've answered. If yes, what happens after insurance company? That's the Then from Eric Punyasi, is there reinsurance by all insurance companies? If yes, what happens after an insurance company unfortunately collapsed? Okay. Now, there is reinsurance. There is reinsurance of all the insurance companies, and the funds are fully regulated. As you can see, the insurance companies have two regulators. One is the Insurance Regulatory Authority. The other one is Retirement Benefits Authority. And the supervision, or rather the regulations that they have given is what we call the risk-based. It used to be the capital base, but they realized that you can have the capital, but the liability that you have accumulated is more than the capital base. So they change to a risk-based supervision, meaning they identify risk even before there's some ratios which they use to identify whether this company will be capable of meeting the obligation before it actually went down. And with this kind of regulation, the insurance companies have remained afloat for not as before the establishment of Insurance Regulatory Authority, meaning they are doing a lot of work to ensure that there is a good environment for the insurance companies, and also there is a good competition between the insurance companies. So in case the insurance company is going down, this pension business and life business is long term, and the pension funds, every quarter you have to show where you have invested your fund. You have to declare to Retirement Benefits Authority. But in case of collapse, then the Insurance Regulatory Authority will appoint, or rather will put the company into receivership. And when it puts the company into receivership, that receivership manager will now start meeting the obligations of that insurance company. Because now, for the case of annuities, you have to enjoy the annuities monthly for the rest of your life. And now you are told the insurance company has collapsed. So what will happen is to take the books, see the funds that is there, because actually the funds for members are not supposed to be mixed with the funds of the company, because those are the funds for retirees. And when we are declaring every time the RPA checks that this amount is available or not. Okay, so the receivership manager will now take over from the books of that insurance company. Okay, with regards to annuities. Are there benefits of deferred annuities over immediate one? It depends. It depends on the person who is investing the funds. You might be having a lump sum, and this annuity, you don't want to start earning annuity immediately. So you can choose to say, this annuity, instead of paying me, let it continue accumulating. Most of the time when the person wants to purchase a deferred annuity, I normally advise that person to still keep the money in there, IPP for it to grow faster. So that when it gets to that point, when he wants to earn a monthly income, then he can convert now and purchase an annuity. Though there are those members who put the amount and say, I don't want to earn now, I want to start earning in the later stage. The money will continue growing. Money will continue growing until that time when you will earn. For the deferred annuity, are the payouts given higher than those of an immediate annuity? You see, when you are deferring, the payout is not there. But when you are starting at a later stage, you will starting with a higher amount because that amount will have grown for that number of years which you had deferred. Can you cancel and withdraw your lump sum from a drawdown plan before the 10 years is over? No. One, RPA has given that the minimum withdrawing period for income drawdown is 10 years. And especially if the money was coming from a pension scheme. What we have done as Kenindia, because we didn't have the income drawdown before. What we have done is to have an income drawdown which can separate between the provident and the pension scheme, and also the savings, which someone can be having savings in the bank, and maybe the rate of investment is of income drawdown is high. Yeah. So what we have done is that we have registered an income drawdown, which will allow members to cancel the amount, the policy anytime after 5 years, But this will be applicable to only provident money coming from a provident scheme or money coming from a savings in the bank. Yeah, so that is what we have done, and that product will launch before December. We don't have it yet, but we are in the final stages of incorporating in the systems and to launch before the end of this year. Please share the slides after the sessions. Yes, I think Renisha will assist me with the email so that I can share with you the slides. Hello, and thank you for the presentation. What happens if you have not yet saved enough into the pensions fund to last you the years that you are still alive? Thank you. So it means that if you know that you haven't saved enough, and also you don't have maybe with the little savings you have, I will advise you maybe to go for the annuity. At least what we look at the retirement, when you are saving for your retirement, one thing that you should be aware of is to take care of your stomach first. Take care of the food, the basic needs, okay? The basic needs. Because you find sometimes the retirees take the lump sum, go and build a house, but now, up to some point, because they have never touched that kind of money before, they find that they have underestimated the cost. Then they'll end up hanging. Because if you find an incomplete house at Ushago or at home, if you try to take out, 90% belong to retirees. Why? Because they look at what they had never touched before, and they think that it can complete a project which they have not done a quite estimation. I think that is a topic for another day for when it comes to transition. But I hope I've answered your question. Where are we? Please share the slides. I have an individual pension plan with Kenindia, but I have never gotten my pension policy document. And the birth date on my profile is incorrect. How can I get some help with this? Okay. Unless I know when you took the policy. Before we never used to give the policy documents. But currently we started giving the policy documents. And then maybe you will give me, or rather Renisha can give you my number, then we can see how to help. Then also the correction of the birth date, I will give you my email. You can do an email. You can email us the correct birth date, share your ID copy, then we will be able to update. And I hope you are able to see the online platform. Is it still worth it for over 65 years to invest into a pension fund if they had not yet done so before? And if so, what is the most important reason for that? I.e., if they have some small but of savings. One, because I've seen most of the Asians, they invest in pension scheme, and basically it's because of the rate of return they enjoy. It's because of the rate of return they enjoy. Then if you are not planning for retirement, if you have what is sufficient for your monthly income, then or rather if you want to add, or rather if you want to increase your monthly income, you can purchase an annuity. You can purchase an annuity, because if you look at the rates of an annuity, you can compare with rental houses. But now you see, this is a passive investment. You don't have a lot of stress following it up with tenants and what have you. But the money will always come to your account even when you are asleep, even when you are sleeping in your house if you don't do anything. But that is one of the passive investment, and that's why when we advise, especially people who are older and they are not used to working with, or rather following stressful investments, then we normally advise them to do it on a pension or rather an annuity platform. Kindly touch about PIMA account plan before you finish. Anita, this is a person who knows our products. Okay. And we see if I still have the pension fund, the pension plan first. Before I touch on the account plan members, if members have been talking alone, are we still together?
Yes,
Yes,
we're
we are.
together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any question which I have not answered? For the questions you had given me, someone had asked, is there a minimum monthly contribution for a personal pension plan? That we say no, there is no minimum pension, minimum monthly contribution. You can contribute any amount. Another thing, if I was to shift from Kenindia to another pension administrator, are there cost penalties and how long will it take to receive the funds? On transferring from our scheme to another fund manager, there is no penalty and there is no cost incurred. What we normally do is that we encourage members to stay for at least 1 year with us. Then from the joining date to the exit date, at least 1 year. Then the transfer, the law says for any transfer you can do within 60 days, but for most of the transfers we do within 1 month. If I was to withdraw my funds, are there costs and penalties and how long will it take to? I think I've covered that one on the presentation. Then are there pension fully secured that I've answered? Are personal pension plans managed differently from employer scheme? Are returns different? In a guaranteed setup, the returns are not different from personal and also the corporate plans. 17, what is the role of NSSF statutory deduction in retirement planning? NSSF is a statutory, which is a mandatory deductions which the government imposed. It was a pension, it was a retirement planning package for the employees. But NSSF has been taken much by events, because where will you take 400,000? Or if you find somebody earning a maximum of almost 500,000 in NSSF, it fits the purpose of saving for your retirement. Meaning, because that is a small amount of investment, 200 shillings and 200 shillings from employer, that is 400. And that's why they tried to bring in the law in 2013, which was forcing the employers to do a 6% contribution. They are converting now to a pension scheme. At first, it was just a provident fund. So they wanted to enhance it, though the workers fought it. And just for one reason, the mismanagement of our public of the sector, that is the NSSF management of the fund. So, but that law was passed by Parliament, but it has not been operationalized, because they want to enhance it so that it works the same way like the private pension schemes. And what happened also, it was affecting the government itself, because the government was supposed to follow that 6%, 6%. And that's why they were not keen to pushing it to operationalize before they are ready for it. But if you look at what they have started now, they are converting all employees of between 45 years and above. They are now putting them in 45 years and below. They are now taking them to contributory schemes, contributory pension scheme. They are now getting out from a defined benefit scheme. So then after they fully comply with that 6%, because they have started with a small percentage for them to catch up after some time, after they are fully complied, then that NSSF law will automatically rise and come back to life. So that is all about what I have on the retirement benefit scheme. It was basics on how the retirement benefit schemes work and the benefits and its benefits. Thank you. I can see most of the people have left. And I still have one question for Anita on how the BIMA account work. The BIMA account is an investment plan that we have from the individual, that is individual investments. So what happened in the BIMA account is that there is a minimum contribution of 100,000. That is if you are doing a single. We have an installment BIMA where the minimum contribution by year for the next 5 years is 20,000. Then for a single, the minimum contribution is 100,000. Then this BIMA account have a small life cover. And with that small life cover, it exempts people from paying tax, because any life insurance company, life insurance covers does not pay tax on returns. So whatever the interest declared or rather declared or earned by the money in a BIMA account, it is not subjected to tax. But when you are entering, there is a management fee of 5% on the amount being invested. Then also you can do top up in a multiples of 10,000 every any time. So that is how the BIMA, and all the proceeds, there is no deduction. And the minimum period, the minimum lock period is 2 years. So after 2 years, you can decide to withdraw lock partially or full, or you can leave it to after maturity, which is the maturity period is a minimum of 10 years. And the proceeds is tax free and no deductions from that. That is briefly about the BIMA account. Thank you. Unless there's a burning question.
Thank you so much for taking your time to give us this understanding on retirement. I will look for you, Kando.
Sawa. Thank you. You are welcome.
I'd like to take one.
Okay.
I will share the question with us. Once I receive it, I will share it with us. So don't worry, I will.
Okay.
Hoping we are all okay with what we've learned today, and we will be able to implement them when we think it's wise to implement. And thank you so much, William, for joining us tonight. So I think our time is up. I just want us to finish and close. We'll have the recording. William, please let me save the recording from your side. You are now the host.
I'm the host, yeah?
Yes, just save it for me from your end as we finish up the session. Members, thank you so much for coming. I think we can pray and end the session. Anybody want to say something, or can I just pray? Silence means we are okay. So let me just. William, someone is asking for your email on the chat. Please, you had said you're giving us your email. Please share your email. Meanwhile, let's pray. Father, we thank you for the session. Thank you for understanding. And thank you for wisdom on how to apply what we've learned. We give you thanks and praise for this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Sarah, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
I'm looking on
Hope you've
hard
saved the
and
recording.
safe.
Please.
I'm looking for it.
A cappuccino just beside the share screen. You should be having the options up.
Yeah, I can see stop
Yeah, stop the
recording.
record. Yes.
Recording, and then I put, are you sure you want to stop it?